is a danger to you. And me too. Tatted on my forehead. Go home. Go to bed. I dread something we get this way come. When the family unit is overrun. When the structure is undone. By some new concoction. Now I walk softly and carry a big stick.
Welcome back to the Franchise Podcast. I'm Joe Arrigo. With me is my partner, TQ.
Yeah, in the building. Good morning, good afternoon, good night, wherever you are on this beautiful earth. The boys are back in town, baby.
Hey, you didn't get the partner reference, did you?
I got it.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the reference and what this week is of the show in just a few minutes. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk a little UNLV versus Cal.
Yep.
We're going to talk a little Aces, but first, the Raiders.
Oh, man. Look, man. First week of NFL football, there's something that I've noticed across the league,
What's
including here in Las Vegas.
I need to know this. I don't even know, folks. So I don't know what he's talking about.
Boy, this not playing your starters at all in the preseason, man.
It's for the
makes
birds.
For some sloppy ass week one football.
Yeah.
And that's what we saw across the league. There's just not, the continuity ain't there, the chemistry ain't there, because the ones ain't been on the field, and it was a mess. I mean, everybody lost.
Oh, well, we said it before the show. All of our teams lost.
Everybody lost, man. Everybody lost.
Both of your NFL teams lost. My NFL team lost.
Yeah, it was rough. It was rough. I shot the Raiders and the Chargers, so I was there on the sideline.
Okay, wait. Before we get into that, let me ask you.
Yeah.
Your thoughts of SoFi versus Allegiant Stadium?
SoFi is the most amazing thing that I think I've seen up close for sports, period.
Okay.
In all the world. I've been in the Burner Bowl. I've been in Old Trafford. I've been to the big, Olympia Stadion or something in Munich. I've been to so many of the big, sports cathedrals. That thing is something else. That being said,
I'll say there's a but somewhere.
there is a but. That is very much an outdoor stadium.
Really?
Yeah, it's just got a big magnifying glass on top of it that's just going to allow the sun to bake you.
So you're saying it's a carport?
Introduce you into Satan himself. Listen, bro, it was so hot. So the pebbles and stuff that's in the turf, right?
Yeah.
I try to make it a point, if I can, to wear pants when I'm shooting, because that stuff can creep into some different places that you don't necessarily expect.
The unmentionable areas.
And you're not going to be able to get it out in the current situation, especially when you're getting flashes of shots on TV and all. You don't want to be choking your chain or nothing like that. You don't want to get caught like that, man. So I had on some jeans, and man, I was drenched. It's so hot in that place. And then at a certain point, the sun is literally right on top of it. So now I was talking to some of the people that was there, and it's like it was built the wrong direction because they wanted to get a view of the Hollywood sign, as opposed to changing the openings to the opposite direction to get the Santa Anas to come through, which would have everything beautiful. Oh, it's so stupid, man. It's so stupid, but it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. Now, I will say this. I saw an overzealous, I must say, Charger fan who decided that she didn't want to wait on the crowd to get out the stand. She just wanted to jump. She landed on her face. She was out cold. Drunk as a skunk. And a Raider fan stole a cart and had a bit of a high-speed chase in the concourse.
So was it like Marshawn Lynch, Ghost riding the whip?
Yeah. He crashed to the pole. Police got on his ass, and that was that. So it was an eventful day off the field. On the field, offensive line, man. One Khalil Mack. Remember him? Remember all that trash you was talking? Oh, I'm going to debunk some of your stuff.
Oh, no, I stand by it.
I stand by it. Of your
I stand by it. I stand by every thing that I said.
Problem from get-go.
And what did I say?
A big problem.
What did I say about him and bad offense? He eats up. He does it against certain types of offensive lines and teams, and he'll have spurts.
Come on, man. Khalil Mack is a beast. Khalil Mack is healthy, and it's going to be a problem for the AFC West this year, dealing with that man. And Bosa too. The Chargers are, if they get on a roll, if they find a way to get into the playoffs, I feel like they'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, they have everything.
But Justin Herbert, man, Justin Herbert's different.
Shout out to Marcus Arroyo. That's his protege.
Guy's different. And shout out to me because I told this guy.
He did.
I told everybody.
He did.
That year, he was head and shoulders the best quarterback coming out of college. I knew he was going to do this. The way the man puts the ball in places. I've only seen one other person do it.
Go ahead and just say his name.
Hey, that's us. It's A-Rod only.
That's
A-Rod only. Like on a consistent basis where when the ball leaves his hands, that man's not open, but he's throwing them open. He's threading the needle in the perfect times at the perfect spots. And like, I mean, he had the Raiders defense on their heels the majority of the game. The defensive line of the Chargers had our offensive line on their heels the majority of the game. And Derek forced too many balls to one player. There was times on the field where there were other players open, and he's got to see that. He's got to get that.
Okay.
To make that happen.
So a couple things. Remember we said over under 125, Derek Carr or Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I won that one.
You did.
And I'll say this. There's a couple things about Derek Carr in this game. And I'm not a Derek Carr hater. You know that.
Right.
I'm just going to speak what it is.
Yeah.
He's only going to one read. He wasn't scouring the field.
Right.
He was locking into this, if not even just Devontae Adams. If it's Hunter Renfrow, on that, I think it was a third down play.
Yeah.
He looked dead at Renfrow, and that was it.
Yeah.
And he still threw it. Renfrow made a hell of a catch, pickup, whatever. But if you move around, you go through your progressions, makes you a better quarterback.
Time out. He ain't had time to go through his.
Oh, well, I'm getting to that.
Okay.
He's got to get the ball out faster.
Yeah, it sounds good. You telling him to get the ball out faster at the same time you telling him to get through his progressions. What's the man supposed to do?
You got 3 seconds to get it out. That's NFL.
Man,
3 seconds.
He didn't have 3 seconds. He had 3 seconds a couple of plays. He did not have a consistent 3 seconds on Sunday.
I got a text from an NFL executive on Sunday.
Yeah.
It literally said, same old car.
I mean, hey. All right, that's cool. But at
So
the same time, that's not the same old line. All I'm saying is, I'm not being a Carr homer. I'm not clapping for Carr right now. I'm not capping for Carr either.
Come up with another saying while you're at it, Squeeze.
What I'm saying is, like, there's blame on both sides of this. Like,
absolutely.
We as a fan, some pretty damn good quarterbacks played terrible.
Absolutely, you're 100% right.
Right? But all you see is Raider fans piling on theirs and not talking about the other problems that stood in the game.
But I'll say this, and this goes in general for the NFL. Week 1 is just week 1.
100%.
I don't overreact or underreact or whatever.
100%.
Now, if you lose a quarterback or your best player for the season in week 1.
How about them Cowboys?
Oh, my, the Clown Boys? you ain't never heard that one. Yeah, got him with that one.
We got any Cowboy fans out there? I'm sorry.
Not after this.
Hey, that's the only thing that made the day better for me. The Niners lost, terrible sloppy game, terrible field.
That was one of those games that was like hell for me.
I mean, geez.
Let's talk about that for a second. That field, Soldier Field has got the worst field in professional sports.
You said it. That made me look at it. The last time they was playing there was a preseason game.
Yeah,
this year, wasn't
and
it?
you seen it.
Yeah, man. And then like the way that it was just, I mean, it was just taking on water like it's just and just chunking up. They said it was newly
New
sided.
Bermuda. They just put it in on Tuesday.
Oh wow.
And then but yeah, so like that was one of those games. If it was a college game or a high school game, they cancel it.
Yeah.
But because they're professional athletes, they keep it. But that was an ugly game to watch.
Terrible, man. Just a mess. And you don't really. But you know what? I feel like you just said, I don't think we can make too much of an assumption about what's going to happen going forward because of this first week. Because I look at it like it's a fourth preseason game for most people. or actually the third preseason game. We could actually get some starters in it. But I will say this, just from being up close and personal, I hate the Chargers.
You hate them.
I don't get the Chargers no respect. San Diego is just San Diego. It's a cursed city for sports. Anybody that leaves there and moves to another sport, another city,
you're gonna
cursed.
You're gonna lose a friend over this one.
Who?
Timmy T.
Me and Timmy T not friends during baseball season. We only hook up in like June or July when the Padres are eliminated from contention. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, but that's my thing, man. I just the San Diego thing for years. I would go down to San Diego for the Raider game. All the time they was in Oakland. That was our home game. That was blackout,
Raiders out.
right? And we never win. And they beat us to death. This was the LT, Sean Mary, and Antonio Gates days.
Yeah.
And they loved to beat us because it was none of them there. It's kind of like 300 Charger fans in the stadium, and it's all us, and they just dogging us by 30 points. This went on for years.
It's like their blue pill for the season.
There you go. That's all they could look forward to is just whooping on us. So I don't like that. Feeling some kind of way. You know what I'm saying? And I hate what I saw Sunday because we're going to have some problems with them. The NFL is going to have problems with them. If they stay healthy, Chargers the one to watch, I think. Don't really see many weaknesses on the team. I think their offensive line could be an issue for them. But outside of that, they got a squad, and they got a quarterback that can win the game for them.
I wonder who said they were the squad to beat in the AFC West.
Who didn't? How about that?
Oh, I know a bunch of people. Kansas City.
Turn on
Kansas City.
Man, come on, man.
And look, and here's another thing. Week one stuff.
Yeah. What?
Seattle beat Denver.
Yeah, for sure.
Minnesota beat Green Bay.
They did.
Chicago beating San Francisco. That doesn't happen.
No, you're right.
I'm gonna tell you the team that I think is for real though, even though they lost.
Who?
Detroit.
You know what? I feel like Detroit started building something. When they got all the meatheads there, man, I think it works for the city. I think it works for the type of team that they put together. They're gonna be fun to watch because I believe they just they rooted in just football head, just beef head stuff.
Going into the fourth quarter, they were down 31-14. They lost by 3.
Right.
And their offensive line and running backs, they were still pounding the rock. We're not going to stop pounding the rock.
They're going to fight, man.
I love it.
They're going to fight, and they want to do it mono. They say, look, we bigger, stronger, faster than y'all. Let's line up and get it going.
One ass on the ground or one toe in the dirt, we're going to fight you.
Period. Over and over again. I will say this: it's not doom and gloom for the Raiders.
No, it's not. I'm half joking about things that I'm saying, folks.
They're not. They'll be all right. I think DC forced some balls, definitely. And we know from his history, that offensive line worries him. There was a time when he had one of the best in the league, and he sat back there like he was the man.
But we're not going to get into that. That's a whole nother story, folks.
I'm just saying.
That's a whole nother story.
I'm just saying it's totally different one way to the next, one extreme to the next. We haven't fielded anything in the middle yet.
I will say this, though. He needs to relax.
I agree.
I think he's too wound up and he's too, I got to prove people wrong. It's like, dude, stop. Good point. Just play your game.
Good point.
When you're playing free and easy, you're one of the top 12 quarterbacks in the NFL.
I will say this, and I know there's some pressure from the fan base and from the NFL media about the dink and dunk. It was times when he had the dink and dunk.
You got to do it.
You gotta just take it, man.
Tom Brady does it, and he's won 7 Super Bowls off dinking and dunking.
Nobody talks about Tom Brady with the dink and dunk.
Nobody
talks about that. Nobody says Tom. They pile on Derek Carr about it, and I think it gets to his head because he missed some dink and dunks that could have extended drives on Sunday, trying to get down the field. Which, everybody, you got to be more aggressive. You got to be more aggressive. You see what can happen when you get aggressive.
Yeah. Speaking of missing dinking and dunking, UNLV had a chance to beat Cal, and our guy, Doug Brumfield, in the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes to go, and it was the specially designed play. Coach had Ricky White, who's going to be on the locker room next week.
Sweet.
Aiden Robbins, the running back who was on the locker room 2 weeks ago. Go to Franchise Sports Media to check those out. Quick plug.
Check them out.
And Doug, Doug takes the ball. They're on the same side.
Yes.
Sprints out, and Doug just overthrows Aiden. And Aiden catches at the 3-yard line. He would have turned and walked in. UNLV probably would have won the game. Instead, they fall 20-14. And look, I'm not putting it all on Doug. Doug did not have a great game.
No, he didn't.
But I'm going to say, 81 yards in penalties.
That was the key.
Well, that in your third down conversion rate wasn't good. And the fourth, you weren't.
Right.
But they got off to a slow start against the Pac-12 team.
Yeah.
With a defense that's in the top half of the Pac-12.
Right.
And all they did, not only was hang with them, but damn near won the game.
Hey, man, I mean, you gotta understand the situation, right? Like, UNLV is not going to be expected to beat Cal. But I think there was an expectation years prior to this that they just go up there and get dogged.
No, they would have got dog walked a number of times.
I mean, inside of the program and outside of the program. That's not there anymore. I feel like this group of players believe they can compete, and they showed that they can compete, even with a terrible day. Come on, man, 81 yards of penalties, bro. Come on, I hope that like everybody need to be running. Coach, everybody. I hope everybody's running.
Well,
literally, that can't happen again. But they say there are no moral victories, right? But at the same time, in a fight, anytime you can get off a couple of good punches, after you lose, that's the first thing your brain goes to.
Yeah.
I hit him a couple of times, though. You know what I'm saying?
I got Mike Tyson twice. Yeah, but I'm paralyzed now, but I got him twice.
So I think it's something to build off of. They got to clean up they got to clean it up, man.
I'm going to tell you what.
It's got to be more discipline out there. They got to clean it up.
Well, first of all, shout out to this guy right here, Jeray Williams. You see the Who's Jeray shirt that's coming on the Franchise Sports Media shop that's coming up real soon, so be ready for that, folks.
Yeah.
Jeray had an interception, big tackles, leader.
Yeah.
But what I didn't like, and this is just a philosophical thing, and it's not a shot at Keith Hayward. I hate soft coverage.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
Get up in their grill. I don't care if you're in cover 2, cover 3, get up in the grill.
Especially if you got a guy in the zone that you can't seem to stop and they keep going to the same place. You got to change something up.
You got and that was something that I know UNLV fans were just pissed off beyond belief about.
Yeah.
But that's the 7th loss by 8 points or less in 2 years.
Jeez.
When they turn the corner and learn how to win, because it's like they're jabbing, they hit you and they stun you. They just got to hit that they got to have that knockout punch.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once they develop that, good luck.
Yeah.
Good luck.
It's definitely, I can tell you from being as close to the program as we are, like it's definitely a difference right now in this team and years prior. It's just a difference. I feel like there's a certain amount of hope as opposed to PTSD. I feel like some of the teams prior to this one just got used to losing and winning the games, not necessarily believing that they can win. That's what it seemed like. I could be wrong, but I'm right there on the sideline just kind of looking at, when the heads start going down, the shoulders drop, because you don't see it happening. Just losing is stuck in your brain. These cats act like they ain't never lost.
There is a lot more team guys on this team than last year it started. Yeah. But in years, there's less I guys, a lot less me guys on this team. Good. I will say that.
Good. Hey, hold on though, man.
Here we go.
We talking about all these people taking these L's. I know who ain't taking no L's.
Oh no.
I know who ain't taking L's at all. That's the Las Vegas Aces, baby.
Woo!
That's the W crew right there. You understand what I'm saying? All dubs. All dubs.
Hey, man, that game Sunday was beyond lit. I mean,
I hate I missed it, man, really.
Well, you're working.
I know,
and we were working. Trish and I were working. You were working.
Yeah,
we everywhere.
But I kind of feel like the owner, man. He's got a beef with the scheduling.
He should.
Know what I'm saying? Why in the hell would you schedule WNBA finals on opening day of the NFL? There's no way to win that battle.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you. I asked this we were talking about this in the press lunchroom.
Okay.
Okay. A local media guy who kind of looks like me. I'm not gonna say no names. Always suited and booted and kind of looks like me. Willie Ramirez.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Big bro. Big bro. Okay. Hey, bro. So he said it's because they got the soccer tournament that's starting, and then we're gonna be able to compete with that. And
what soccer tournament?
It was a soccer or a FIBA or something, and he said because of that, the scheduling they had to have it start on Sunday. My beef was, why start it at 12 o'clock when you can start it at 6? The same time you're starting the Tuesday night game. And
Tom Brady's playing the Dallas Cowboys at 6.
Okay, but
nobody's gonna watch.
But okay, nobody. Do you think anybody was going to watch at noon like that? The same people.
I get it, but
the same people not watching are the same dudes that are like, it's the WNBA. We're not going to watch the WNBA.
But still, man, you can't. Everybody's geared up for that day. We've been gearing up for that day since we lost to the Bengals.
Let me ask you a question.
Come on, man. You can't do that. You gotta give the WNBA a chance. Give them a shot. So you don't put them up against they on ABC, bro. They don't normally be on ABC. They're normally on ESPN. They was on national TV.
Would you have had it Monday?
Yes.
I would have too. That's what I said they should have done. Monday, Wednesday, Saturday.
Yes.
And then Monday again.
You're going to be losing anyway. You got to go up against some kind of football, but you ain't got to go up against all of it.
Yeah.
Right?
I was hot.
That day we've been waiting on. Like this Saturday in college football, we into the season. It's just a Saturday of college football now. It ain't like opening week. Like next Sunday is much less of a draw than this Sunday was.
No, you're right.
So, it's just I feel like they just put them in a position to fail. And we ain't seen no better basketball than this in the WNBA.
No.
This is some of the best basketball we've seen in the league in history.
Speaking of, okay, let's get on that, not the optics, okay?
Right.
That first 6 minutes of that game, the Aces were just on fire. I mean, they were started off 5 for 5 or 6 for 6. Asia Wilson, the MVP, rightfully so.
Boy,
dominated. Chelsea Gray did what she's been doing. Jackie Young. Yeah. The only one that wasn't on par the whole game was Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
It was the first time, I think, in almost a year she didn't score 10 points. Yeah. But the next game she came out and scored 29. So I expect a game 2 different Kelsey Plum.
Yeah.
But the atmosphere was electric. It was a record sellout crowd at Michelob Ultra Arena at Mandalay Bay.
Sweet.
The intros again were outrageous. They had so obviously they have their regular Weeby Club intro, right?
Yeah.
Man, they did a little Annie Up though too before that.
Really?
Bro, that's one of them songs
with the video and everything.
The video on the board, bro. That gave me goosebumps.
Oh my
Annie Up's one of them songs by MOP that you just hear, you're just like, I'm ready to go turn up. I'm just gonna get wild
for that. So it was wild in there, huh?
It was wild. It was loud.
Listen, man, Vegas just knows how to do it right. Like I know it's late in the season. It's probably not easy to get finals tickets now, but to everybody in Las Vegas, man, next season, go check out an Aces game.
No, they still had some upper deck, $10.
Oh, really?
$10 upper deck.
Come on, man. Let's pack the place out, man. Go to the finals.
Well, hopefully they don't have, after Tuesday night they win, they don't have another home game.
Yeah, that'd be
okay. So come to the parade.
Yeah, exactly.
Come get wasted with me and him at the parade. Exactly.
I mean, listen, man, I've had a ball shooting them this year. I love the atmosphere. I love the team. I love the way they play basketball. Like you have to tiptoe about how you describe certain things.
Tiptoe.
But the way that they play basketball this year reminds me more of NBA basketball.
Yeah, the way, right. and I think part of that is Becky Hammon.
100%.
And Becky Hammon is using NBA terminology, NBA plays in the WNBA.
Yes.
Where other teams can't and don't do that.
That's why I say this is the best basketball this league has seen. And I believe that if it goes into this direction, if other teams start adapting this type of basketball, it's going to be a lot more entertaining than people have taken it for, or than it's been up until now. Naturally, the NBA plays above the rim. Like, we love the speed, we love the size, we love how they can jump, how they can run, how they can shoot. But a basketball purist can watch the Aces run their offense, and it's a thing of beauty, man. It's a thing of beauty. If you love basketball, you would love the way that they play, and they would be entertaining to you without all the dunking and the high-flying rim running, you know?
Chelsea Gray came out there this game, and the second and third quarters, it looked like she kind of flatlined a little bit. That fourth quarter came in, and what the difference was in the fourth quarter, De'Arica Hambry was inserted in the game. Now, De'Arica, if you don't know, was a starter all season.
Right.
She's a former 6th Woman of the Year, and she hurt her knee right before the start of the playoffs. She had a knee contusion, so they didn't know she was going to come back and play. Well, she was back, and they inserted her in. The energy that she brought was just different.
Took them up a level. Huh?
It did, and then at that point,
and that was that her first time?
No, second
time playing in this series.
Yeah, she played in no. Well, this was game 1 of this series, so yeah.
Okay,
but I think she played a little bit in that Seattle series.
She did. Okay, right.
Yeah, and at that point, Chelsea Gray took over.
Yeah,
she took over, and being they changed where we sit now. Before we were on the side behind the benches. Right. Now we're behind one of the baskets. And
hate it back there.
I do too. Jiggy, man, we gotta talk, buddy. Jiggy, you gotta keep the local people behind the benches, please.
Come on, man.
Please.
Let us at them. We need that box on that floor. That's what we're trying to get.
But Chelsea was in the referee's ass all game long.
Really?
Fought, like literally, she got called for a BS foul. She was like, "Hey, that's the one bullshit foul you're gonna call on me all night." I was like, "Damn, bro. Okay."
She got the dog in her. I love
she
it.
Does.
I love it.
No, you brought up Above the Rim, which is one of the best basketball movies ever made.
Oh yeah.
Even though the cut ups, so there's one cut up in particular, number 52 pulls down a rebound, throws a deep outlet pass, caught by number 52, and he dunks. Same guy. Yeah. Bro, I catch little things like that in movies.
That's funny. I didn't even consider that a basketball movie, but it is 100%. It's called Above the Rim.
But
break.
The 26th was the 26th anniversary. 26. The 13th was the 26th anniversary of Tupac passing.
Yeah.
And both of us being from Cali, both of us being from Southern California, LA, IE, like Pac played an instrumental role in us growing up.
Absolutely.
I've said he's not only was an actor or thespian, an activist, an artist, he was the voice of the voiceless and the voice of our generation.
I agree.
I know you never recorded with him.
Not with him, no.
But you did record on one of his records.
Yes, posthumously.
Yes. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. This was actually West Side, my first single. I didn't do that record for me. I did that record for a Tupac tribute album where a lot of West Coast artists were just doing records in tribute to Pac. West Side was written in tribute to Tupac and Eazy-E. But it got caught up in some kind of probate thing between Afeni and Suge for the ownership of Pac's masters. So we got out of that situation before that song was in it, basically. And later on, after Pac died, had a chance to work together again through Mike Mosley and Shock G, who had been producing Pac for the longest. Afeni had won her rights back from the Death Row situation, and she wanted to create that album that she was trying to do in the beginning. But this time, it would have some Pac verses on it that she had won back from the master vault or whatever. So went to the studio. It was me, Shock G, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Digital Underground, Mike Mosley, a couple of other ones, and we did. It was 3 songs. It was In the Event of My Demise, Dope Fiend's Diner, and Tears of a Clown. Those were the names of the songs. Now, at the time, I basically Feeney just asked how much you want, and you sign your rights away. So it was no ownership or anything like that. And my thing was, I was just happy to be called on to do the record.
Right.
To do the records. But since then, man, I never heard him again. I've asked people numerous times, has anybody heard the songs, got a hold of them? I never heard them until we went out the studio. But it was an experience that I had in there that day where she turned off all the lights. She had the candles going, and we just listened to his verses without no music on. And she just had a candle in the vocal booth, and she was just like, "This is what I like to do. This is what I like to do in the studio to remember my son, because it feels like he's here." And it did. It absolutely felt like he was in there, because you could hear the breathing, you could hear, and even the stops when he's talking to the engineer and stuff like that. So it's like, it was deep, man. It was deep, and it's a trip to think about how Afeni's gone now, God rest her soul. Shock's gone now, God rest his soul. It's so many experiences that I've had that I'll never forget. You know what I mean? And as far as music and hip hop music, his ability, his talent, his charisma, it's just the top for me. He's the GOAT as far as I'm concerned.
So I don't know if I told you this. When I got into throwing clubs and parties like 14, 15, freshman year in high school. Mm-hmm. And obviously it was before he was signed with Death Row. It was after the Strictly 4 Mi. It was right when Strictly 4 Mi came out.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the Sugar Shack, but it was a club in Hollywood that we had on a Saturday night. And somebody in the group I was with at that time got a hold of him.
Yeah.
And he came through. Mind you, my mom was with me because I was 15.
Yeah.
So that was my first experience with him.
Wow.
Super cool, right?
Yeah.
My mom still loves him almost as much as she loves you.
Mom Dukes.
But then when I got with when I moved back home to the IE and I got with my dudes from Polo, the crew we started, Players Only Live Once. Yes, sir. We had a club owned by Above the Law called Club Cinos. It was in Pomona on Foothill between Town and Gary.
Okay.
And Pac had just got out of jail. We knew somebody with Death Row. We placed a call in. Said, hey, we want to have our club Saturday nights, 18 and over. You guys can have open bar. All you come through. Snoop lived in Chino at the time.
Yeah.
Snoop, Dog Pound, Suge, Pac, Danny Boy, Jewel, the whole.
Everybody came?
Except for Dre. Dre ain't going to come.
Right.
And Pac seen me and was like, he looked at me. I'm like, you don't remember me. I met you about 3-4 years ago. He's like, nah, Hollywood, right? I was like, yeah. He's like, you had a little short mom. I was like, yeah. Bro gave me a hug like, man.
Wow.
Tore it up.
Yeah, I know he did.
Bro, it was so much fun. And so fast forward now to the day he passed. A good friend of mine was 2 cars behind him out here in Vegas when he got shot. He knew his cousins were involved in Death Row. He actually was working at Walmart at the time. He managed the fish, like the
little fish area.
Little fish area. That was like his little area. I was like, all right, man, you got the veterinary area, whatever the hell it's called, pet area. I'm back from Atlanta. The girl I was dating at the time, she had to come back for something. She's like, come back with me for the weekend. So I'm like, all right, let's go. We flew back. I had nothing going on that weekend.
Flew back where?
To Cali. To Cali,
okay,
yeah. So I remember the Motorola phones that you could change the cases, like the color from white to blue to red. Okay, I had one of them. I thought I was a shit back then with that, man. You couldn't tell me nothing. And my phone rings. And I'm waiting for him to get out because we're going to go grab dinner.
Yeah.
And I got the call that he died. Bro, I started crying. I was sitting there in the back. He came out and he started crying. He got a call too.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget where I was September 13th when he passed away. And then I get in the car and I hear Theo's. Yeah. I got a deep voice like Theo.
Yeah, Theo.
And Theo broke the news to the city of Los Angeles. So,
it was a rough day. I'll never forget that day.
Where were you?
It was my dad's birthday. Happy birthday, Pop.
Happy birthday, Skip Rock.
Yeah, he's the big 7-0 today.
My guy, man, I know.
Big dog.
Love me some Skip Rock, man.
Yeah, it was my dad's birthday, man, and I was with a bunch of my homies, and we got a call from another one of our friends, like, man, hey, Pac dead. And for like an hour, we didn't believe it. Just went on about what we was doing. Then we got in the car, was going to buy some herb, and that's when we heard it on the radio, and that's when it went real. And I'll never forget, man, I was on El Segundo and Crenshaw at the stoplight, and I just heard a woman screaming. We looked over at the bus stop. She was on the bus stop, and she was just going back and forth, losing her mind. She had her kids with her. Pac, they killed him, they killed him, they killed him. And that's when it all came down. And at that point, I remember I was driving. I let my window down. It was getting a little hot. I'm looking at the car next to me. This dude in his car crying. Look at the car over there. 2 girls in their car crying. We ride down the highway a little bit further. We get to the next light. You look around. Everybody's crying. Everybody. And it's like, that's when I felt it, man. That's when you recognize how much impact the dude had on all of us. Like he really spoke to that anger and that aggression that growing up in the place that we grew up and growing up how we grew up. He really spoke to that, man. And for me, in my lifetime, I feel like the gifted people that I connected with the most really tore me up. And like that was Pac, that was Prince, and that was Kobe. And I'm just, those days I will always remember. I won't forget those days. Just sometimes, man, I believe creativity is just, that's God revealing himself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
We talk about this all the time.
Yeah, this whole thing started with creativity. So a person that's gifted at playing a sport, gifted at making a song, gifted at painting, gifted at, just writing, those types of gifts that touch people beyond borders, across the board. Like I went and saw Kendrick Lamar the other night, man. It's just a dude from Compton, bro.
No, I'm knowing.
You know what I'm saying? The majority of the place full of white kids, just full of people that haven't experienced any of that kind of specific pain that he's been speaking through this whole time, coming from that place. If they've experienced it, they've experienced it in a different way. But the ability to connect with so many different kinds of people on a level, that's just special, man. And Pac had that in so many ways. He could do it on screen. He could do it on stage. He could do it in your headphones. And he still missed.
Pac was relatable.
Yeah.
Across, my mom, I remember Poetic Justice came out on I think it was DVD or VC. We went to Blockbuster and rented it.
Yeah.
And I didn't live with her at the time.
Yeah.
But I went out to visit her, and she lived in Glendale at the time. So I said, all right, I go out there and see her. My stepdad and dipped out into, I think he went to a Laker game or whatever. And I stood there with my mom, and she popped it in. She was like, oh my God, he's so talented.
Yeah, man, he's gripping, man. He would grip you, and he would keep you interested in whatever was going on, whether it's just the screen or on a song. And it's like, he, from what I know, from knowing from the people that worked with him, the people that knew him on both coasts, from Oakland to New York to Baltimore to LA, he had his character. Yeah. He played his character.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily the guy that he portrayed. You know what I'm saying? But those moments where in the interviews, that one song on the album that just sticks to you and you can't believe he's rapping about this.
Right.
That's the thing that shows you the gift, man.
Man, you said interviews, and the first thing, and I was going to say this, but the first interview I think of is when he was sitting with the redheaded girl from MTV News.
Yeah, we say he got a big mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my big fat mouth. No,
Yeah.
But it's when he was talking about how the disenfranchised people.
Yes.
Why the mentality is what it is. And if you guys don't get a chance, like go on YouTube and look for this interview. And he essentially says, like, you know, it's like you live in a town and there's the castle.
Right.
And you go knock on the door and say, we're hungry. No, and we don't have any food, and they close the door, but you see the food back there.
Yeah.
And then you go back there a week later and do the same thing, and they get the same answer. The third time is like, you know, they close the door, but you hear them partying.
Yeah.
And then the fourth time, he was like, we kicked down the door. We coming through the room blasting, you know, and it was like, but like, it's like, but that's what it's like.
Yeah, man, for real.
Like you see these people doing other things like lawmakers or whatever, and like, you have to do this. Well, you're not living, you don't see what's happening down here. You can't tell us because you're not down here.
Right.
So how can you relate to me if I can't relate to you?
He came out, he came out with a message at a time that it really needed to be said.
Yep.
And he had a lot of help because there was a lot of good artists coming out at those times.
Oh yeah.
But he did it better. Just did it better, man. His stuck, I think, more like, and you know, you have some great two-sport, if you will, artists, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like Cube was very effective in telling that same story.
Yep.
And then getting on screen and gripping us. You know what I'm saying?
Common would be another one.
Right. I'm not leaving out the GOATs because there are some, but I just feel like that charisma, that just the talent involved on both sides, man, just set them apart from the rest.
You remember what Jim Belushi said about him?
No, what?
So they they're doing Gridlock.
Oh, Gridlock, yeah.
And he said Pac was late coming there. And he got there and he was just like, Belushi jumped his ass. Like, who are you think you are? You ain't no rapping. And Pac on his face is like, you're going to calm down. And then when they started acting and they got to know each other, he was like, he was on course to win an Academy Award.
Yeah.
He was like, I've never seen someone from a different profession come in as an actor and just take it over and know exactly what to do and how serious he was as a thespian.
Some people have talents, bro. Some people have gifts. Ain't nothing wrong with talent, but a gift is something amazing and something divine. And that dude was gifted. He left a mark on me. That's going to be on me for the rest of my life.
I think everybody in our generation. So, on behalf of the entire franchise, if you're a Pac fan, to his family, friends, loved ones, you know, our thoughts and prayers are with you this week. And the same thing for P&B Rock.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's another one. We lost a young brother this week, unfortunately.
Go,
so,
can I just want to say something as an old head. Take it from Uncle TQ. Please stop setting your location while you're at your location. Young brothers, young sisters, please. It's a rough time right now, man. In some of these cities in America, people are broke and they out there trying to get it. So everybody be careful. Listen, man, social media ain't all it's cracked up to be. Please do not let an algorithm harm your family, take your life. Like, let's be smart. Let's be preventative. Let's not provoke people at this point. Like, man, it's just too many young men, man, that they have the ability to touch people through their music and they're just dying. And when you lose somebody like that, I always say, man, the currency, the number one currency is people. It ain't the pound, it ain't the dollar, it ain't Bitcoin, it ain't none of that. It's people. And damn, boy, we done lost some people in the last 2 years, man. So we just need to take better care of ourselves, take better care of each other, because the wild ones, the evil is rampant. It's out there. It's probably not settling down before it gets worse. So, you know, just be vigilant, man.
Well, if you get a chance, go read Keyshawn Nixon's tweet.
Okay.
Key, friend of ours, like a little brother to me, former Raider, plays for Green Bay now. Key said, you know, my city isn't the city now for, I'm paraphrasing, like, people out there wilding. It's the Wild West. Like, it's not safe to be in the city if you're not from the city. So the holidays are coming. Just be safe.
Absolutely.
You know, and for someone, you know, Key is one of the toughest individuals I know, grew up tough. For him to say that, you know, that this one hit home for him.
Hey, man, I mean, LA ain't never been no joke. You know what I'm saying? And it's been times of growing up there and living there when it's just hotter than other times.
Yeah.
And, you know, the new generation, the heat it's just different. It's just different. I feel like the OG effect is all but gone. And I think that it was a little more guidance out there in the streets at a certain point in our growing up, and that guidance is gone. And it's just, it's the Wild Wild West. So like you said, everybody just please, like, be careful, man. Be careful. Like, just don't believe that it's just all about being out, showing what you got. Who you are. I'm not saying that my man did that, but I'm just saying, like, it's just this can't keep happening, man.
I hate ending the show on a somber note, but we are.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just what it is.
Very important, man. How many times has this happened when we've had to spend some time in the show?
Oh, too many.
Man.
Too many.
Giving condolences because some young brother who millions of people love just got his life taken by just some unnecessary evil.
One of the worst parts about this, besides it actually happening, is somebody actually recorded,
bro,
and it was on Twitter the day it happened. Like, his legs on the floor bleeding out, and it was literally. I credit Valerie Brown for literally adding Twitter saying, "Take this down." Yeah, man, it was ridiculous.
Yeah, man, it's just I don't know what's happening with people. I don't
Desensitization.
Know what's happening with, maybe. It seems like, I don't know, man. It just seems like it ain't no conscience left.
No, it's like there's no regard for human life
at all. So when you're in a position like that, man, and like if y'all see that kind of stuff pop up, man, I mean, okay, if you watch it, you don't have to share it. Like, no, come on, you don't have to share it. I mean, I shared something a couple of weeks ago, and like, I'm always watching the wildlife stuff, right? So right. I like lions and tigers and alligators fighting and that kind of. So I shared the stuff on my story, man. When an alligator was just floating through the river, and I'm thinking he just like beat another alligator. Right. Had a person in his mouth.
Yeah, I seen that. I didn't
even know that.
Till he crawled out the water and had the person laying there.
I'm like, yo. And it was too late. I had shared it already. So it's like, even with that, man, let's just be more careful. Social media it's got some evil parts to it. It's doing a lot of evil work. So just be careful with it. Really. Be careful with yourself. Be careful with your location. Be careful with what you're doing in your phone.
Well, Aces.
Yep.
Don't be careful. Beat the brakes off the Suns.
Hopefully, by the time. Okay, you did it the last time.
Yep.
So do it again.
Well, they play Thursday. So by the time this airs, the Aces will be up 2-0.
All right.
There we go. I'm glad you brought that up, too. Because nice. I did say they was going to have the series over by the time this airs.
Oh, I can't let you get off without this.
Damn.
Cannot let you get off without this.
What I not do now?
Oh, man, you said this thing last week, and I was bewildered. You said that the NFL has the remedy for one Pat Mahomes.
They didn't run cover two.
And I'm saying to myself, what is he talking about? And if I didn't watch Pat Mahomes pick apart cover two over and over and over again on Sunday, what do you be talking about? You tell me you don't smoke weed. Do you smoke weed?
You know I don't.
This is what I want to know. If anybody knows the truth about this guy and marijuana, could you please DM me? Because I ain't seen it myself, but something's got to be going on, man.
All I'm going to say is, just like we said at the start of the show, it's week 1. Don't overreact.
Yeah, okay.
Don't get too hype.
Okay.
And I'm standing by what I said.
I'm standing by what I'm saying today. We're going to have some problems with Justin Herbert and Pat Mahomes. I hate that, but that's the truth. Period. Come on, man.
Well, all I'm going to say is we'll see you next week on the Franchise Podcast right here on Franchise Sports Media. Make 100%. Sure
100%.
You were subscribed to us on YouTube at TheFranchiseLV. Follow us on IG for all the reels. This show is directed by Trisha Lacoste.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Shout out to all of our photographers, including Alon. Get well, brother.
What's wrong with Alon? You sick? Come on, Alon, man. Come on, man. Drink more water. Drink more tea.
None of that. I'll tell you off air.
Don't eat none of this stuff that he's eating. I hope you ain't going to lunch with Joe Arrigo.
You need to. We'll check you next week, folks.
roll straight to the pool. Any man come test you one